I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live the true meaning of its creed. 50 years ago, a great American in whose symbolic shadow we stand today signed the Emancipation Proclamation. This momentous decree came as a great beacon light of hope to millions of Negro slaves, but 100 years later, the Negro still is not free.
Martin Luther King Jr. was born into this world on January 15, 1929, to Martin Luther King Sr. and Alberta Williams King in Atlanta, Georgia. Martin Luther King Jr. admired his father as he was a preacher and a pastor. To be more like him, Martin would memorize hymns and Bible verses as early as 5 years old. Martin was very smart in school. He even skipped the 9th grade. At the age of 15, King was admitted into Morehouse College, and at the age of 18, he would enter the ministry to follow in his father's footsteps. At the age of 19, he would graduate from Morehouse College with a bachelor's degree in sociology. He went on to earn a degree in divinity and eventually received his PhD. While at college, King met Coretta Scott. The two dated and eventually got married and had 4 beautiful children. Martin Luther King Jr. became a powerful civil rights leader with his message of nonviolence.
The time is always right to do what is right. Now is the time to make real the promises of democracy. We have come a long, long way in the civil rights struggle. But let me remind you that we have a long, long way to go. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere.
Although the Emancipation Proclamation had been signed, Blacks were still faced with the injustice of separate but equal. Segregated schools, segregated bathrooms, and even segregated water fountains.
We can never be satisfied as long as our children are stripped from their selfhood and robbed from their dignity by signs stating "for whites only."
Be done. Troubles of the world, troubles of the world, troubles of the world, soon will be done. Troubles of the world, going home to live with God. No more weeping unwilling. No weeping unwilling. No more weeping unwilling. Going home to live with my Lord.
One of King's most memorable civil rights speeches was the March on Washington on August 28, 1963, at the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. King would give many more speeches and was involved in more marches. He would be jailed, his home bombed, but he would not stop the nonviolent fight for freedom and justice. He held on to his faith and believed better days were coming.
Sometimes it feels cold and you feel all alone, but hold on, 'cause better days are coming. It can be rough in this world. I know it ain't easy, but hang on in there, 'cause better days are coming.
On April 3rd, 1968, King would give his last speech. King had made many enemies, but unfortunately his fight for freedom would be cut short. The following day, April 4th, 1968, Martin Luther King Jr. was in Memphis, Tennessee, supporting African American sanitation workers with their strike concerning low wages and poor working conditions. While on the balcony of the second floor of the Lorraine Motel, the unimaginable happened. King was shot in the neck. He was rushed to the hospital where he was pronounced dead at 7:05 p.m. at the young age of 39.
This is a CBS News special report. I am Lauren Beard reporting from New York. We have just heard some disheartening news regarding the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. Let's send it out to Joy in Memphis for more information.
Okay, thank you, Lauren. Yes, I'm Joy Brady, reporting live here at the Lorraine Motel. The Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. was just shot to death by an assassin late today as he stood on the balcony of the Lorraine Motel here in Memphis, Tennessee. The shot penetrated his neck and King was rushed to the hospital. Tragically, King did not survive. He was pronounced dead at 7:05 p.m. King was only 39 years old. We will keep you updated with the latest news as investigations are underway. I'm Joy Brady, reporting for CBS News. Back to you in the studio, Lauren.
The world mourned the loss of such a great leader and activist on that day. But his death could not silence his voice. Nothing could. Martin's widow, Coretta Scott King, spoke out regarding her husband's death.
My husband often told the children that if a man had nothing that was worth dying for, then he was not fit to live. He said also, it's not how long you live, but how well you live. He knew that at that moment, his physical life could be cut short, and we face these possibilities squarely and honestly. My husband faced the possibility of death without bitterness or hatred. He knew that this was a sick society, totally invested with racism and violence, that questioned his integrity, maligned his motives, and distorted his views, which would ultimately lead to his death. He struggled with every ounce of his energy to save that society from itself.
Even after his death, the words of Martin Luther King Jr. remained with the people. King's legacy survived. Blacks were given the right to vote among many other strides in the Black community. The power and spirit of his activism left a glimpse of hope for modern society. In 1983, President Ronald Reagan declared the third Monday of every January a national holiday to remember him. Martin Luther King Jr. was more than a dreamer. He was an extraordinary, fearless leader with extraordinary vision and ambition. By fighting for his dream and against injustice, he impacted generations and changed the world. King changed the course of history. Enough is enough was his message, and it still resonates today. So what have we learned from his message? From him, we learn the true meaning of the word freedom. From him, we learn that words carry power. From him, we learn to stand up for what's right, even in the face of adversity. From him, we learn to never give up on our dreams. So with the days you have been granted on this earth, how will you strive to keep his dream alive?
Free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we're free at last.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening sky.
Let it
Let it
resound.
loud as the rolling sea.
I like this part right here. Come on.
Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day begun. Let us march on.
Let us march on.
Till victory is won.
Now we add a little something to it. Just to encourage you. We're gonna take you to church later. Let's go.
We'll keep marching, fighting till the victory is won.
To all my brothers out there.
Hold your head up, brother, till the victory is won.
To all my sisters.